Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and today will be our second last podcast of the year so far. That I think maybe we might have one off season to maybe talk some spicy picks or something. But this is our World's Finals podcast, at least the prediction part of it, and we had a crazy semifinals. Want to get right in quickly just to talk about. I know there's been a lot of controversy out there saying that uh, IG was kind of like some people said IG was playing a little bit better in Fun Plus, a little bit, and then there's a lot of people actually saying that like SKT was playing so much better than G2. Completely wrong. These people are completely wrong. And on one point, I will say that the other people that were saying that IG and Fun Plus Phoenix was trash while G2 and SKT was good, also wrong. I think that there's a lot of negative attitude to the new style of League of Legends that we are witnessing. We witnessed it last year, and now we're witnessing throughout the year this year. And it's kind of like how I like to see it as from a football perspective. The running back is not that important anymore compared to what it used to be. It's mostly a passing league now, and it's all about your quarterbacks and your wide receivers. uh, Baseball, same thing, where you used to, before, like we had a bunch of analytics, and some teams will still do it, but it's starting to die out a bit. That it's actually less statistically, or it helps you less statistically to do like a sacrifice bunt to move a runner over to second. And instead, if you always, for the most part, a lot of people are swinging for the fences now. That's because statistically, that is the best way to score runs. Even though you strike out a lot doing that against some of these power pitchers, you are more likely to score more runs that way overall. So that's why teams are actually bringing in more of those swing for the fences or strikeout type of guys. If you were curious, if you listened to those two sports, we're going through a similar thing with League right now, where the old Korean way of marching it down, like control wards, never making it too risky of a play. We don't make that big risk like maybe it's only a 40 or 55% chance that play works. We're going to not do that. We're going to pull it out. We're going to put the vision down properly, and then we're going to move on from there. And if there a play happens, it happens, but we'll just play slow and we'll just control the vision, and we'll eventually choke them out and win. Since less than 66%. Wrong, Idol. I actually look, but we'll talk about that in a second. um, but let me get my point done first. But actually, the game has changed with the vision. The wards do not last nearly as long as they used to. There's no longer a tracking knife in the game, and so really, and what's it like? Yeah, that was mostly it. Those are two major keys though. I think the vision wards last 30 seconds less, and no tracking knife on your jungler anymore. So there's a lot less wards on the map, and they last a lot less. So this has opened up a brand new style of game that people still really haven't adjusted to yet, and this has been the reason why IG won Worlds last year. That's why IG made it to semifinals this year. It's why Fun Plus Phoenix is at finals, and it's why G2 is at finals. These teams are very, very proactive. They don't lay back and just like slowly ease their way to a victory. They are very, very aggressive, and that is why G2 has taken the world by storm, especially EU. They've adapted to the LPL style and kind of put a little bit of Korean style mix in it. G2 is a little unique in that sense. They're not just full LPL, but they've taken a lot from the LPL and in the aggressiveness and always looking to fight and making sure that if you outperform them mechanically, you can win a team fight and win a game. More so than some of the other regions like NA, which are still looking at the Korean way to play League, play very slow, wait for the opponent to make mistakes, don't capitalize, don't do anything until the opponent makes a mistake, and then punish them on the mistake. Some teams like Team Liquid are very good at that, but that's not the way that leagues. You're not going to win anything big anymore with that kind of style. So I think both series were very, very good series of League of Legends. I think that people just don't understand the series of Fun Plus Phoenix and IG is a different style than what they are used to. I think it's very, very aggressive, and when you have two super aggressive teams going at it, it's going to look like a fiesta sometimes, but it's actually, you have a lot of mechanical skill in there. Unfortunately, Sandy's moving, so let me get her out of here. And also, with G2 and SKT, some people are saying that SKT was the better team, and G2 just kind of got lucky, but they really didn't. SKT, sure, they got out to those gold leads, and they capitalized on what G2 was doing early, but then SKT kind of went back to their old selves in a bit, and when they got a 5-6k gold lead, they kind of let off the pressure and were just warding and just playing slow to eventually strangle G2. Well, G2 is like playing the new style, and they just slammed SKT when SKT was not expecting the team fight. They're like, okay, they're down roughly 5-6k gold. They're not gonna attack us because that would be stupid. There's only like a 30 to 40% chance that would work. Why would someone pick that? They do. That's what teams do now because they're mechanically gifted enough to outperform you in those scenarios. And it caught SKT by surprise, and it cost them the series, and it cost them their chance at Worlds this year, which was very, very impressive by G2. And it makes me super excited that my initial prediction of FunPlus Phoenix and G2 as the two best teams in the world. Here we go. They are here at the finals. It is almost like we had it predicted from the beginning, just like most of the other stuff. This for my pre-group predictions and everything predicted from the beginning. Watch the world game, get a little frantic, panic, and change some picks, and then they always didn't work. Every time I changed my picks, it didn't work. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. So Idol said team fight. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we do. And going back to Idol saying less than 66%, look what I did right before the podcast, sir. I put my predictions in there, and I did not hit my 75% goal, unfortunately. I'm close, but I'm currently at a 72% pick rate at Worlds this year. So I'm doing pretty good, but I think a lot of if I would have just like stuck with my pre-Worlds, like if I wouldn't have watched Worlds at all and just only did what I initially thought was going to happen throughout all of Worlds, I would have done much better. I would have had FunPlus Phoenix and G2 in the finals. I would have had SKT where they were, getting eliminated to one of those two teams. I would have had a lot of the better teams in the group stage. Like I would have had my group stage correct and stuff and all that, but the only teams that really disappointed me were NA and Vietnam. Those are the two regions that failed me the most. So, speaking of fails and passes, we have two more teams that have been eliminated. And do they pass or fail my test? IG, I had as the best A-tier team. I was one of the very rare people with that. Most people said IG was trash before and that they were going to probably get eliminated in group stage. I did not. I actually thought they were going to get first in the group, and I thought Team Liquid would get second, but they didn't because Damwon really stepped it up. But we also had issues with Damwon and Griffin in best of fives, which we pointed out originally. I put Griffin at tier 8 or at number 8, so they would have been my last team into quarters. So technically they got eliminated exactly where I thought they would get eliminated. I thought both Griffin pre-Worlds, I thought they were both going to make it out of groups and both fail. Well, technically, I had Damwon. Damwon was tough because it was such a 50-50, 33-33-33 group for me between IG, Liquid, and Damwon. I should have known the NA team was going to be the team to fail out of those three teams that are dead even. Unfortunately, it was. But I think my heart kind of wanted to put Team Liquid at number 2 instead. And I thought Damwon would crumble under the pressure a little bit more than they did, which is really good to see from the rookies of Damwon. They did not crumble under that pressure. But I figured both of them have never really won best of fives. They've both really struggled in best of fives in the LCK. So that's why I had Griffin at 8 and Damwon at 9. And so Griffin had been eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, in the first round of quarters, even before Worlds started. So that did happen. Though, when quarters did start, I predicted Griffin to beat IG because I thought Tarzan over Ning was going to be a bigger effect than the Shy over Sword, and that wasn't the case. It was close, though, right? That series was close. I've also not gotten a single prediction right. I've gotten my predictions right, but not the game predictions right at World so far. I've yet to pick a 3-1, and I'm not going to do it today. Spoiler alert. One of these has to break, you know? Like, at one point, we can't have every single series go 3-1, right? I'm that kind of betting man. But back to my pass fail. I have IG. I think they did pass. Even though I had very, very, very high standards for IG. I had Jackie Love as my number one in the world coming in. That was a fail. I had the Shy as the best top laner coming in. That was a success, but he did struggle. And I'm taking this from Ryan when me and Ryan were talking about this earlier this week. Is Kale is such a bad trap pick that it made the Shy look bad. Like, Kale's been trap pick all of Worlds, I think. The people have put way too much of high priority into it. Game speed is still very quick, even though we had seen it slow down a little bit at the beginning of Worlds. It's still quicker than most Worlds that we've had before. So in that fact, Kale is not nearly as good a pick as people say. The only relevancy I think you can get with Kale is with the Kale Kai'Sa ult, in my opinion. Outside of that, I do not think it's a good pick whatsoever. Since Garen spelled wrong. Okay, there, fixed. I also had I had Doinby as the number one mid laner at Worlds, and I feel like that was a pretty good prediction at the moment. I did not have Caps on my list. I did have Caps on my list. I have Caps at number 16. Caps should have been way higher. He's performed phenomenally at Worlds. Going into Worlds, he wasn't performing necessarily great, but going into that, he performed very well. I feel much better about Faker at 15 than I did in group stage because he looked like a god, like top 3 in group stage. But he didn't look good against Splice, and he didn't look good against. He had one of the worst series I've ever seen from Faker against G2. So I'm happy with it being 15. He passed as a top 20 player, but like he had some very struggle a lot in those best of fives. Yeah, as you can see, like my greens are people who I think deserve to at least be in the top 20, or at least like deserve their positioning in the top 20. My reds so far would be not the same. Oh my God, Sandy! My dog is just running in and out of my room at the moment. But yeah, so I think Jankos had a pretty poor tournament. He's played much better. Jackie Love had a very bad tournament for being the sole reason that IG got to Worlds. The fact that he had such a disappointing Worlds is a shame to me. JJ, he performed okay, but Liquid dropping out, that made it bad. And then the rest of these, they did okay at Worlds, but like they haven't necessarily done amazing. I think I should have put Perkz higher than 12 though. Perkz has been probably the best player at Worlds so far this year. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about. Oh no, we gotta go back. Sorry, before we talk about that, I did give IG a pass. It is with just a C because I did think IG were good enough to get to semifinals, as they were the top A tier team, and I think that they proved a lot of people wrong about how they would play. I just personally expected more. So I think most people would actually pass them a little bit higher than a C because of their expectations. But I had much higher expectations for IG than most people. So I do give them a C still because they did make semifinals. So it was like top 4 in the world. But they couldn't beat FunPlus, which is a very tough test. SKT, they do get a fail. Coming in to Worlds, they were my top 3 team. They were in S tier. And if you didn't know, S tier were basically win it all or bust, per se. And that's not necessarily true because depending on how the final goes, I could almost give G2 and FunPlus Phoenix both passes for this year's Worlds. And like my only like situation would be that if we had FunPlus Phoenix maybe get 3-0'd and look like almost like Team Liquid stuff. Hey, Sandy in the background. Yeah, she's being annoying right now. But if we had like maybe a FunPlus Phoenix look like Team Liquid at MSI against G2, then maybe you can argue that they failed at Worlds this year. But outside of that, I really see both these teams probably passing. So even though the S tier is world like championship or bust, I think I could possibly pass them. SKT, however, will get a fail from me because even though they looked amazing and on their way, they even changed my vote. I had them winning Worlds outside of group stage, and that was a mistake. It was a complete mistake. I should have. My initial gut feeling about this SKT team, very good team, still top three, but they're just not as good as team fighting as they used to be, and they always fall back to their tendencies of just not being aggressive enough. They've learned and they've adapted really well compared to the rest of Korea. That's why they won Korea and that they are still a very good team, but they aren't the team fighting gods that they were before. I would argue that FunPlus Phoenix is the best team fighting team in the world. G2 and IG are probably tied for second there. Like those 3 teams are gods at team fighting. And if you would think about it, all 3 of them were in the semifinals, and 2 of them are making it to the finals, and that's exactly how That's how League is played now. It's no longer. I mean, you still obviously have your macro and everything, but it's not as important as it used to be. It's not as such of a vital skill as in like laning and all that. It's still very, very important, but it's nowhere near the importance of being able to team fight and being able to out mechanic your opponent and be able to quote unquote style on them, in a sense. Adal just said that I think Doinby was equal to Perks at Worlds. Doinby has been very, very good at Worlds. I don't know if you saw our last video. I believe it was last time where me and Ryan pretty much flamed Nemesis and Fnatic and a lot of people defending them for a very long time. That Nemesis had said that Doinby was actually one of the worst mid laners at Worlds. Like, we won't go into that again, but that was a terrible take in my opinion. Like, that was awful. Like, I actually lost a lot of respect for Nemesis and Fnatic, and even Kelsey, even a little bit Kelsey and LS, who I usually think LS gets way too much flame for some of his opinions. But like LS and Kelsey, man, I lost a lot of respect for them as well for agreeing in that. And Kelsey, especially in particular, Kelsey Moser said that that Doinby doesn't have a very deep champion pool. Like, if you ban his Rise, he's kind of screwed. Like, Doinby's champion pool is bigger than Faker's, man. Like, Doinby has the biggest champion pool in the world. I don't know where that information came from, where he doesn't have that big of a champion pool. You can't ban him out. It's impossible. He plays Prayer Rumble mid, and he goes 9-1 next game in the finals against IG. And he still hasn't even pulled out his Kled, which arguably, you could argue that his Kled is better than his Rise. Like, he hasn't pulled that out yet at Worlds. So I'm very curious to see if G2, unlike Fnatic, did their homework on Doinby and FunPlus Phoenix and know how to set up and prepare for that Kled, because I definitely see that Kled pick coming out in the mid lane this turn, or this series. But yeah, SKT got to fail. They did not. They looked great at groups. I actually had them looking so great that I thought they were going to actually win Worlds. I even had them beating G2 in a very close back and forth 3-2 series, which to an extent did happen. It was very close, but SKT, man, they fell back on their old tendencies, and it sucks for them. They looked pretty poor against. I mean, they looked okay against Splyce. They dominated the first 2 games. Then they got a little iffy on the next 2. But it was Splyce. It really should not have been what it was. And then losing to G2 3-1 when you had multiple like 5-6K gold leads, when it's Worlds or bust, I have to give you a fail. It's only a D. It's not an F. But it's a lot of fails at the top, because when you're at the top, the only thing to do to pass is kind of just be at the top. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so let's get into G2 versus FunPlus Phoenix, the finals. This is a good one. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit and stuff thinking it's going to be an easy G2 stomp. Like, they saw IG versus FunPlus Phoenix, then they saw G2 SKT, and they're like, oh, well, G2's going to 3-0 them. It's going to be simple, like that. I don't think that's the case, and I know I have a slight LPL bias, but I really think that the way FunPlus Phoenix plays, and they're like, oh, because the reasoning behind that is IG looked so bad because they were constantly taking fights that they didn't need to take and stuff like that. The issue is that is the new style of League. You've seen G2 do that to European teams. Like, they make you fight them because they know they're the best at that. like they just, like, FunPlus Phoenix just team fought like Rookie, the Shy, some of these amazing mechanical players, and they got away with it. And IG was the only team to actually beat FunPlus Phoenix this split so far. Like, the only team to actually take a full series against them, a best of 3 series. And that was simply because IG's pretty damn good at team fighting. You can question their macro, you can question Ning and Balan and some of their questionable plays in their enting type style. Like, they're big player bust type players. And but they beat FunPlus Phoenix in the summer split off of team fighting. And we looked at that last week, and it was very, like, their team fights are very strong. Obviously, we saw them win Worlds with that. FunPlus Phoenix is just another iteration of that. I think that going into World, how many of them did I actually put on my top 20? I think I wanted to put all of them, but I think I dropped Mickey X, and say I put Core JJ. Mickey X was like 21 on this list. Honorable mentions were not in any order, by the way. If I haven't, I've said that before, I think. But if you haven't seen, honorable mentions were no order. I was just going down the list of people that I really liked. I think I had Wonder, Jankos, Perks. Yeah, so I had 4, and then I had Tien, Doinby, Crisp, uh, LWX, and Gimgoon. So I had 5. So 9 of my top 20 players at Worlds, and I could switch out Core JJ for Mickey. That was literally a coin flip, and probably me just focusing more on Team Liquid as a whole that put me at Core JJ just barely above Mickey. But basically, 10 of the top 20 players at Worlds are in this game. All 5 from both teams are phenomenal players, so I think it's going to be very, very close. I've already spoiled that. I will say it's 3-2. I just don't know where it's going to go. I do have in my heart, I want to say it's Fun Plus Phoenix, because I think the way they play is disgusting, that they force every single person to play, or every single team to play the way that they do. So you have them going mid with Doinby. Doinby mid is very solid, by the way. And you have Crisp go there, and you have Tien go there. They just boom. They will simultaneously gank the mid laner. They'll push the waves out, shove the waves out with like Nautilus, all of his weird picks. They usually always shove lane, like Rise, Nautilus, constant. Like they will always try and push the lane as fast as they can and go roam. Kled tries to always abuse that and then get level 6 and roam as fast as he possibly can. That's their style, and you have to break that style. So what I want from G2 to break Fun Plus Phoenix's style is Jankos always has to be aware of the counter gank on mid. You have to have very good communication with your bot lane so that they know that the second Crisp is gone, he's most likely going to the mid lane or at least roaming with Tien. Tien is a fantastic jungler. I'm very glad that he's getting the recognition he deserves. I had him at top. Yeah, I had him third best player at Worlds. I think that he's phenomenal. I thought the only jungler better than him is Tarzan, and I think Tarzan really showed up at Worlds as well. I think it was more his team, or at least Sword let him down a little bit. But I got if Jankos can counter gank the Tien and Crisp ganks, possibly bring Mickey up there as well if you can get Mickey on Rakan or something like that. But that and then Perks and Mickey have to punish LWX. LWX is very aggressive, as we've seen. Yeah, I think that they are like. If you've seen any at Worlds, he's super aggressive. He actually has the most kills, by the way, because he's really stepped it up in quarters and semis. This is the LWX that make me put LWX as the second best ADC coming into Worlds, third best ADC coming in the Worlds. I had JackeyLove, Uzi, and LW. I think almost all ADCs in LPL are superior, though I would put Perks in there now in that discussion because Perks' Xayah is the best Xayah in the world. I'm sorry, Uzi. Uzi's Kai'Sa, I would say, is better, and some of his other ADCs are clearly better. But Perks' Xayah by itself is one of the best. That is like the shy Vladimir, Nogri Vladimir, rookie LeBlanc type situations. JackeyLove's Kai'Sa from last Worlds. Like it is, Perks' Xayah is disgusting. It is a must ban, 100% ban for me every single game. Anytime I see a team does not ban it against G2, if you're not first pick and you don't pick it, you are trolling that game. That's how I feel every single ban phase. I'd all said that I think you should worry about top for G2. Yes, I've been very, very curious about the the comments I've been reading about how Wonder is going to stomp Gimgoon in lane, and Gimgoon is going to get a reality check in lane. I really am unsure about that. Like, it could happen. Like, I could be wrong. But Gimgoon is much better than people give him credit for. Like, I saw people making fun of a thing on Reddit about top 20. And to be fair, the thing was very, very questionable. Like, you had to have Gimgoon in the top 3, and it was taking a lot of teamwork. You had to have all the best players from this world. By the way, my list probably would have done damn good on that. I never checked that, actually. I should check that, because I have 9 of the 10 players from Fun Plus Phoenix and G2 at this list. And I can switch Mickey X to Core JJ spot at top 20. And, like, they were exactly dead even. I think it was mostly I just wanted one NA player there, to be fair. Like, but yeah, I think it's so I would actually have done damn. I need to check that. Huh? I'm a genius. No. Gimgoon I had at 13th. I had Gimgoon ranked higher than Faker for me. To put this in perspective, I think Gimgoon is a phenomenal top laner, one of the best top laners in the LPL, and that is going against the Shy. People are like, oh, he didn't like dominate against the Shy. Well, no shit. It's the Shy, like the best top laner in the world. And if he would have gone on to win Worlds or at least make finals, have been very close, you could argue that the Shy is on the path of Faker level. Like I really think you can make that argument. Like he's setting the because he's only 19 or 20 now, and he's already had a World Championship and a semifinals. And he's been the carry of his team in both of those. Even though I thought Jackie Love really would have been the carry this year, but I was quite wrong about that. But yeah, I'd also I remember when LWX was trash last year. Yeah, I didn't follow too closely the LPL last year. I've mostly been starting watching as of spring, but I've completely fallen in love with the region. But yeah, LWX, I've told you guys, even after game one against J Team, when they lost to J Team, it was mostly because LWX went too hard on the Kai'Sa. I told you, put them on the snipers, the Caitlyn and the Varus, and we haven't seen the Caitlyn yet, but the Varus we have seen, and the Varus is quite clean. If you have Crisp to protect you, Crisp is the best support in the world right now, in my opinion, and like, if you have him supporting you on the Tahm Kench or just even on anything, because he roams as well. But like, if you have him there to protect LWX really pops off when he has that free not mobility, that free risk-free environment. If he's able to go forward and take risks and then be saved from those risks, like that's good. That's very good because he takes a lot of risks. But we've seen that actually is a good thing now. We say it as such a negative connotation to it that he takes too many risks. But in League these days, in reality, that's a good thing. That's why IG won. That's why G2 and Fumble Leagues are at finals. People are just, there's not, it's tough to argue because it's like people expect the old Korean way, like, oh, that's great League of Legends. Like, well, I always think of it almost as like you like the snobby old, like not to flame them or anything, but it's just like the old player, like, oh, back in my day, that's how things are. That's how things are done. Nothing should evolve. Everything should be the same. If they perfected it way back in my day, you can't do anything. But you can't adapt it. Adapting it is disgusting. But it's been adapted, and the adaptation is beating the old way, and that's how people need to play now. My question is how do you decide who comes in third and fourth? What do you mean by that? For like, because there's no third place game. Are you saying between like IG and SKT? When you explain that, just 1 second, I will go back to this with G2 or with Fun Plus Phoenix. The way Fun Plus Phoenix needs to beat G2, by the way, we went on a little tangent there. But the way that Fun Plus Phoenix needs to beat G2 is by doing the same thing they're doing with getting TN and Crisp to constantly gank Doinb. So Doinb opens up, so the map opens up through mid lane. They don't pressure that mid lane necessarily, but they pressure. Doinb comes on and roams bot or roams top. I think if LWX and Crisp are losing too hard the Perkz and Mickey, you roam bot to try and save them. If they're kind of stable and Perkz isn't getting too much of a big lead, you roam top to just really force Wunder, because Wunder is the weak link at the moment compared to Gimgoon. I think that Gimgoon has the superior advantage over there, even though I know I'm in the vast minority in that opinion, and it could be wrong. It really could. But Gimgoon held his own against the Shy very well, and the Shy is much better than Wunder. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, all EU fans out there, but the Shy is amazing. And even though he had a bad Kayle game, again, Kayle can make even the Shy look bad, but I think that if Doinb's able to roam top a bunch and really slam Wunder, you're going to have Gimgoon really fed, and you're going to have TN really fed. Probably one of those two are going to get the kills. And you're going to have a lot of pressure on the top side of the map. So if you're on blue side, obviously you're going to get a lot of pressure towards the Baron and the enemy red buff and stuff like that. And you really want to focus on that while you have LWX and Crisp kind of play a little more safe. Where if you're on red side, you're going to have more towards the blue buff. So then you can actually starve caps out of blue buffs, and then you can actually have Doinb, if Doinb is able to take the blue buffs, or even TN takes the blue buffs, you can have Doinb with more pushing power and then actually go down there. So I actually like Fumble Phoenix on the red side a little more, because if it gives Doinb more opportunities to roam or to push his lane quicker, I think, and then it's negating Caps' ability to push the lane, I think that's actually very, in favor of FunPlus Phoenix. So I want to see them on red side more. Unfortunately, on red side, you got to ban Pantheon automatically, and you got to ban Xayah. So it literally really leaves you only one flexible ban every single time. I'd all as mentioned that yes, he did mean third and fourth, and because of the prize pool, someone has to be third and fourth. Do they, or is it tied? Yeah, they split it as an even. IG and SKT both split it. $155,750 split. I'm assuming that's split. I'm assuming it's not the same money for each, or it could be. Let's do quick math. Sorry for that. 834, 375, 300, 375, 155, 700. Yeah, that would definitely be. It's definitely 155,000 each, because that would make sense. Because we're only at 1.2 million and it says 2.1 million, so we still need another 900k. And if you could do some quick maths, it's not 900k right there. But if you add all those teams to that, yeah, then it's actually 900k. So at least Team Liquid and Cloud9 got 50k coming out of Worlds. It's disgusting. But yeah, so we got. So if FunPlus Phoenix wins on that, they would win Worlds, and I think that it's tough. I'm going 3-2. Like, I know 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. One of these has to be 3-2. They were all very good series. IG versus Griffin was neck and neck. G2 actually stomped Damwon. G2 stomped Damwon harder than SKT stomped Splice, which is crazy. FunPlus Phoenix stomped Fnatic, actually. That was the biggest stomp of the tournament so far in quarters. G2 beat SKT in a very close series, and FunPlus Phoenix actually beat IG in a very close series. So 3 of the 6 series that we've had so far have been very close 3-1s, and the other 3 were kind of dominant 3-1s. So will we get another 3-1? Possibly. My heart is really telling me FunPlus Phoenix is going to win Worlds. It's really there. I think that Doinb has everything it is, or everything you need to be an excellent mid laner, and you don't need just laning power against these. With the way your team plays, if you can team fight well and you can get your ADC like 5-0 every game, or like let's be 2-0 or 3-0 in laning phase every single game, or you get Gimgoon far ahead every single game. Who cares if you're not good at laning? If you're getting your teammates all good, why does it matter? Why does it matter? It shouldn't. Some people's eyes it does, and in my eyes it does not. Like if you're able to, if you know your weaknesses and you play around them to focus on your strengths, then why is that a negative thing? That should be a positive thing for learning to adapt and evolve your playstyle to work at the world stage. And it has for Doinb. He's been so close so many times, and now he's here in his first Worlds, and they're in finals. All FunPlus Phoenix is very, very inexperienced on the international stage. We have, obviously, all of them playing their first time. So they have 8 plus 7. So what is that? 15 games of international experience on 5 people? Like there we go. 75 games total across the board. Faker has 100 wins by himself. Over 100 wins by himself. So that's a lot. Idol is actually saying FunPlus as well, because I'm assuming you meant unlike, because unlike SKT, FunPlus Phoenix will maintain a lead. That is a very good point. That is a very, very good point. If G2 plays poorly in the early game again against FunPlus Phoenix compared to SKT, they will lose. Because FunPlus Phoenix, unlike SKT, they pulled their foot off the gas. They pulled their foot off the gas a little bit. And that's the Korean style. That's what they're used to. That's how they won all their championships. You just pull your foot off the gas, so you don't want to go too aggressive to make too many mistakes so that your opponent goes back in. FunPlus Phoenix, they're an LPL team. That gas, that foot is an iron foot or a lead foot, just completely on the gas. It's not moving, and G2's better. If they fall behind, they better really adapt to it quickly, because they're not going to win those team fights. But G2 has been playing really good League of Legends. They are actually on the golden road that we do not hear too much about. I don't hear nearly enough analysts talking about this, and I think it's arguably because you can argue. I've heard the arguments of the winning the golden road as a LEC team is not nearly as impressive as an LCK or LPL team, which is correct. That you have to concede that the LEC is not a good region. Like, NA is a terrible region. LEC is the third best region still because one team does not make a region. We can go through it. I know I might get flamed for that, but we have LEC Summer 2019. Fnatic performed pretty poor, but you really oopsies. Let's not go. Let's go to Game Feeder. Just quickly here. LEC, you have two legitimate teams coming in. Splice really overperformed, which was a fantastic Worlds for them. I'm super proud of Splice. But going into Worlds, you can really say EU is a two-region team. The rest of the teams here, quite below level. Very similar with NA. You can say you have Team Liquid's a very good team. Cloud9's a pretty good team. They flopped at Worlds, and so Team Liquid. And then the rest of it was pretty garbage, to be fair. Like, the rest of this is not great talent. The LCK at least has Griffin, Damwon, Sandbox, SKT, Afrika, and you can say that those 5 teams, even Kingzone you can argue. I won't argue Gen G. You can argue Kingzone. So they have about 6 teams, which is more. 6 is more than 2 or 3. Weird. But like, and then they have the worst team in the league in Jennair, but they're gone now, so bye. But yeah, so they have 6 teams, so it's a little bit harder. And I'll argue even the hardest league, as I've argued all year round, is the LPL, where you have FunPlus, top with the best player in the world, RNG, Bilibili, EDG, Invictus Gaming's all the way down here at 6. They got 3-0'd by LNG, and you also have Sunning and Team WE and even JDG are all world-beating level teams. So there is 10 levels of teams in the LPL. So that, if you want to argue that the Golden Road can only be done in the LPL, sure. It's not a good argument in my opinion, even though I will concede the fact that the LEC is weaker than regions like that. But you still got to give them the Golden Road if they get it. Like, they did everything correctly. They won MSI. They won LEC Spring. They won Rift Rivals. They won LEC Summer. And now they're in the finals for Worlds. It's going to be one of the most impressive. That is the most impressive series or like year of any league team. If G2 wins here, this is going to be the best year of any league team by far. And more to come, yeah, for my doll. But yeah, this will be like this come from NA fan. Like this is the best. This will be the best team. As of like technically, like you could argue that G2 will be the best team ever if they win all those, for sure, absolutely. I think that's the Grand Slam. Like exactly. It's they won everything. No other team has ever done that. You can say sure their MSI win was against NA. NA beat IG. Like NA's terrible, but they're not as terrible as people think. Like they're definitely 4th, but they are 4th. They're not wildcard though. They are 4th for a reason. But yeah, so with all that being said, I have long dragged on. My mind is telling me G2. My heart's telling me FunPlus Phoenix. I'm at 72%. I can't get to 75% either way, so I'm going with my heart in FunPlus Phoenix in a 3-2. Now, if, like I said, my mind is telling me G2 will be able to overcome FunPlus Phoenix's aggressive team fighting and be able to hit them right back with it and win. But my heart is telling me at the same time that G2 has yet to face a team that is insanely as aggressive as FunPlus Phoenix, except for Damwon. They did show pretty well in Damwon, but Damwon has issues in best of 5s. But SKT was slow. Griffin is very slow. They've beaten all the Korean teams, and they technically lost to Griffin, but they beat all the Korean teams, and they've seen all the Korean ways. They haven't faced the LPL yet. They went 0-2 against IG in MSI. They went 0-2 against Funk Fu Buffalo at Vietnam. Or at MSI in Vietnam. Vietnam's also a very high-paced team. So G2 doesn't have the greatest track record against fast-paced teams that are willing to match them on their insanity. And so I'm very curious about it like that. You know what I mean? But like they're a damn good team either way. No questions asked. If G2 wins, 0 surprises. It's not like I'll be like, oh my god, it's the biggest upset ever. No, G2 absolutely deserves where they are. And if they get first, they get first. Like they are there for a reason. But I do think at the end of the day, I've had it since. You could argue that FunPlus Phoenix was one of the best teams in the world in spring, They got upset to the miracle run of JDG that almost pulled them all the way to the finals, or they did pull them to the finals, but then they lost eventually to IG. But they got upset there. They would have been at MSI, so people maybe would have known them a little more. Then you had them dominate the LPL, which we talked about. They have 10 world beating teams in the LPL, 10 of them. So 8 of those teams, FunPulse Phoenix came away with a dominating performance against. The only one was not IG, and they have actually turned around and beat IG at Worlds now. So they are even better than before. They've beaten RNG. They dominate RNG in the LPL. Like, there's a lot that they have done this year. So and they're all on their first year on international. Like, obviously they're not rookies. Like, Doinby's not a rookie, but their first year international. And I think that it would hurt me too much not to pick them on my very last prediction. Either way, I'm stuck at 72%, I believe. If I do 62 divided by 87, 71%. Okay, so I will drop 1%, but I'm totally okay having a 71% prediction rate at Worlds. I think that's fine enough. But yeah, I got FunPlus Phoenix. I think it'll be a very close series, though. Idol said that he wonders if Papa Smithy is going to adopt the LPL style. I hope so. We'll talk about that more maybe on an off-season podcast if we have one. But like, I really hope so because NA is still adopting to Korea style. We are so out of date. Like, even look at Team Liquid. Like, Team Liquid just plays a more slow style. They're faster than they were in spring. They were actually the fastest team in NA, but that should scare you for how slow NA is because Team Liquid is not necessarily fast like an LPL team by no means. So I'm curious to see. I think G2 has always struggled against fast teams. You've seen it this year too. It's not like, oh, that was a different team. No, it was IG, Fung Fu Buffalo. They haven't faced a very fast team yet this year. They faced HKA, Cloud9, Griffin, not very fast. Damwon was the only time that they did face a faster team, but even then, Damwon is fast, but they have a little bit of the Korean style still in them. The fastness comes from Nogri and Showmaker. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows? I think it's going to be a much closer series than people give credit for. I still think FunPlus Phoenix is going to win, but it could easily be G2. I would have no qualms with that. I think G2, very, very good team. I'm just very excited for Sunday when we get to find out. I just hope that we get a 3-2 so people, and it comes down, like, if it comes down to a base race, man, like, every game is back and forth, like, dead even gold the whole time, like, team fight after team fight after team fight, like, you're coming away like, oh, 3 kills to 4 kills, 4 kills to 3 kills, 4 for 4, maybe even a double ace, like, that would be amazing. Like, I want to see it. I want to see so much like that. And then I'd also remember we also have the Masia Cup coming up. We do, so we will have to pay attention to that as well. But that being said, that should be the rest of the podcast, I think. That's what I want to see. I just want to see team fights everywhere. Everywhere. I want it to be the bloodiest series we've ever had in League of Legends because I want people to be upset and like, oh, this isn't good League. But no, it actually is good League. This is the new style of League and people need to get used to it. Until they buff wards again. If Riot ever goes and buffs wards, adds that 30 seconds back, or adds the tracking knife back for junglers, you're not going to see the Korean style of League ever come back to League anymore. It's dead. It's not dead in the sense that it's dead enough that you're not going to win worlds with it. Let's say that. You can still perform amazing if you have like Faker and everyone on your team, but you're not going to show tons of international success anymore doing that style. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast and every podcast this year. We will still have one more with talking about the final results of Worlds, and then it will be Bloody Idol says. Yeah, it will be, and I'm super excited to watch it. But yeah, and then we'll have the Masia Cup as well and stuff like that. But for Worlds and for the whole real season, we will only have one more podcast, so we'll be getting to that as soon as we can. Once it's over, we'll probably do the podcast Sunday. Yep, that will be all. Thank you guys for watching so much, and hopefully we just see a fantastic game, fantastic series. Please, please, please. Good night.